UI design. Hello everyone, welcome back. We are finally live, and today we're going to talk about a really cool UI design that we're going to be building out. This is a complete e-learning SaaS website which uses a lot of super duper cool effects, and I'm excited about a bunch of things, including vectors and background patterns, taking images, removing their backgrounds, and playing a whole lot with them to get to a point where you just love the way the view turns out. I have so many cool new features to talk about in this episode. Let's just jump into what we've planned for today. This is the demo of what we're going to be building out today, and it is a complete UI design. Oops. This is a complete UI design e-learning SaaS library landing page, and a lot of really cool things catch your eye right off the bat. There is a really cool color scheme, but other than that, you also have these very subtle vectors in the background that are always there to keep things interesting, just to keep the people who are watching, just to keep everyone's head going to the right places. You have a really cool navigation bar at the top, and then you have a settings menu on the right side for dark mode, game system, any other options that you might have, and also help. Again, there is a notification bar at the top, super duper neat. The color scheme is so well tied together, and I absolutely adore the way they've just taken these images and then removed their backgrounds and added a couple of vectors. So we're going to be doing all of this in this episode. And then we also have this introduction of this new app or website which we're launching. This is the SaaS part, which is going to expand from this landing page now. We also have this global presence section, which is one of the most dynamic things we've done in UI design as of now on this channel. Again, there is a bunch of countries, and once you do select one of these locations, you get a wonderful map with all of these different locations quickly marked out. And there's a testimonial section which also, like every other section, has this background pattern with all of these different vectors. And there is a person in here whose shadow has been highlighted. We have a silhouette, and also you have the feedback of whoever this is. Again, this UI has a lot of things that you would never have gotten in any other UI, including this super duper cool navigation menu at the bottom with all of these different colorful bullet points which you can scroll through with. And then we have an events calendar. Now, I haven't really done a calendar like this ever, and it's super duper awesome because you can check out all the dates and have an intro to what's going on that specific date. I feel like this is one of the most innovative calendars we've seen in a really long time. And then we have the footer at the bottom. So right off the bat, again, there are a couple of things that I want to talk about. There is such a heavy use of vectors in here, and we're going to be designing this whole thing live. Let me know if you're excited. Let's introduce ourselves in the chat and let's go. The first thing you're going to do to make this complete e-learning landing page of a SaaS application is to make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. We're hoping to reach 500 subscribers today. Let's make this the stream where it happens. Let's go. All right, the very first thing we're going to do right off the bat is we're going to create a new Figma file. So just click on plus. If you haven't installed Figma yet, by the way, what are you doing? Go to figma.com/downloads and download yourself your desktop app from Mac, for macOS or Windows, whichever it is that you're using. Yo-Yo is here. Hello, welcome to the stream. And then you can and then you can go to the landing page, click on create new, and then you can create a new design file. This will create a completely new design file for you, and we're going to get this party started. The first thing we're going to do, obviously, is we're going to open up a new frame. This is one of the best streams I've done in a really long time, which is why I am super hyped up. All right, we're going to now create a frame for MacBook Pro 14, which is the laptop layout which we're using for this frame. And the next thing we're going to do is get ourselves this notification bar, because the quicker we can get this, UI in itself has a lot of super duper cool features and a lot of details to get right. We have to make sure we're using all of these elements and everything and it just gets on point. This is going to be a long build, so I just want to start off with the simplest thing we can do. Let's make a notification bar. We're going to open up our frame, create another frame inside of the frame. This frame is going to be a little bit thin because why not? And then we're going to choose a shade of orange. Let's just choose a shade of orange that's really, really bright. I'm choosing FFA600. And now I'm going to add a little bit of color to it with the white text that is the notification text of this area. And we're just going to import the text that we've been using for the notifications. So I'm just going to zoom in and copy this text. I'm just pasting it with the average style of nothing at all, and then we're going to start styling this. The font that we're using today is my favorite font in the whole world. Nothing comes close. Outfit. And we're changing the color to white. We're going to obviously make this bold and increase the font size to fit the whole area. So we're going to do, let's do 18 because that fits in here perfectly. Again, like this video if you like what we're doing. Make sure to subscribe because we are going to reach 500 subscribers today and it's going to be awesome. Every single person who subscribed to this channel, you're up for a special surprise because we have things planned. Alright, now we're going to import this inside, we're going to center this inside of our frame. And now that we have the notification bar taken care of, I immediately want to start presenting this UI, start prototyping this UI so that even we have a visual idea of what we're building out. Let's go. Alright, the next part that I want to build out is the navigation bar, and I feel like this is the point where we're going to start needing all of these different vectors. Before we get bothered on what vectors to use, I have this free vector elements library by Streamline, and we're going to check to see if we have got this library. You know what? Let's just talk about the vectors that we're using for a little bit. Before I get into the title, let's talk about the vectors that we're using. We are using a bunch of hand-drawn scribbles and shapes that have been provided to us through a library, changing their opacities, changing their colors, placing them on different positions, and that gives you a really, really nice place to work with your text now. The library that I'm using is the free vector elements library by Streamline, and it has all of these different vectors which you can use, and it just makes your experience so much easier. So this is the crown that our boy was wearing, and this is the place from where we've gotten all of these different things. If you don't yet have this library, it's actually completely for free. It has 600 elements by Streamline. I'm just going to show you how to get it really quickly. You're going to go to your community profile, and then you're going to search for the vector elements by Streamline. This is my favorite thing ever. We're going to search for Streamline vector elements, and this is going to give us 600 free elements by Streamline. This is what I'm talking about. We're using the very first 600 free vectors library by Streamline. The simplest thing you can do is open this up in Figma. Make sure to subscribe. Let's hit 500 subscribers today. Let's go. Make sure to like this video. Alright, and so we'll just get ourselves a fresh version of this exact same library. Nothing has changed in here really, it's just the same exact thing. Alright, if you find at this point like me, there is a need for a little bit of space in here, you can adjust your notification bar accordingly. Make sure the width is set to semi-bold, and then we're going to design our navigation bar. So the very first thing that you notice in this navigation bar is this rainbow icon. Now I want to see if we have the rainbow icon. Yes, we do. Let's just look for a couple of variations and see if we can find anything that's better. And I'm just doing this in real time with you. So for a couple of things, I don't know before you do either. Let's just keep on searching. I feel like that's the one that we found was really close to what we were working with. You know what? Let's just do this. Let's just continue with this rainbow. We'll copy it, and now we're going to create a new frame. Let's just create the navigation bar. This is going to be an incredible stream. Say hi in the chat, everyone. And this can now begin. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, you guys. We will hit 500 subscribers today, and there is a special surprise for everyone who subscribes today. So make sure to watch the community tab because there are things coming. Alright, I want you to know over here that you have to add a drop shadow because you want the navigation bar to be visible on top of the screen that you're doing, and also you want to have a fill, because if you don't have a fill, your effects and your drop shadows are not visible. People forget this all the time, and then their drop shadows do not work. This is a rookie mistake. Never ever do this. Where did my frame go? Let's add a fill. We do have a fill now. I feel like we're nested in, exactly, we were nested in another frame, and this was causing us a couple of errors. Say hi in the chat. Make sure to subscribe, because we are hitting 500 subscribers today, and for every person who does subscribe today, there is a special surprise. All right, so at this point I feel like we can blur this thing out and start with the spread as well. One of the greatest advantages of using the internal shapes and not drawing them ourselves in Figma is that we get access to spread. This spread drop shadow feature is a special feature, meaning it isn't available for every single vector shape that you draw. If you draw a weird shape like this, and you add a drop shadow, you're not going to find the spread feature to be active. This is just going to be inactive. But if you draw a rectangle or a square or a frame on your own, and then you add the effect of drop shadow, you will have a spread. This is an important distinction. People forget it. If you've drawn your square with a pen tool, then it's just not going to have its shadow and not work at all. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is obviously take this logo, copy and paste it, bring it over to here, and let's complete 500 subscribers today, you guys. I can't get any work done without thinking about that. Alright, next we're going to go and get our color scheme and put it inside of this rainbow, and this is going to help us sort through what color scheme we're using. So one of the primary concerns here is to take our color scheme, incorporate it into the logo. Since we don't build out a logo from scratch here, we want to have a proper color scheme going on. And so we're going to have our teal, our yellow, and our pink. So we're just going to get those really quickly now. I'm not using any specific hex codes for these. I'm just figuring this out in real time so that you can do that as well. Let's get ourselves a beautiful shade of teal. I feel like this is really close to what we were going for. This is 00E1D6. The next color that we're using is obviously yellow. Let's search for something that looks good, that works with this. If you guys have a suggestion on what color to use for the third rainbow, I will take suggestions from the comments really quickly. Comment down below, and let's get ourselves a good shade of yellow going for the second one in the meantime. This is a little bit different, and again, this is the reason we're doing this today. This shade of yellow looks a little bit different from what is in the demo, but that's the point. We're trying to mix things up. And now we're going to add a pink inside of here. Change this to pink. I feel like these just work so well together that you can't do anything but love them. And this is my color scheme for now. If you want these exact same colors, these are 00E1D6 and FFE100. We also have FF2093, which is our pink in the logo. The next thing we're adding is the name of our brand. This is MathQuest, a fun game-based learning adventure. Let's add that. The font, for the whole stream today, the font is going to be Outfit, which is one and the same. It is a solid font, balanced kerning style. You don't have to worry about making sure everything is bold, too thick, too thin. It just works perfectly, and it's my favorite font of all time. And this just reduces complexities of choosing the right font to such a high degree that I absolutely love Outfit. Big fan. All right, now we're going to change the color of this to pink, because obviously this is the color at the bottom, and so we're going to try to shift this color to the other side and get everything good and highlighted. And again, we're going to take the color which is at the top of the logo and bring it down to the bottom for our description. Let's do a fun game-based learning adventure. This is going to be our description now. We're going to reduce the font size because obviously descriptions are supposed to be smaller, and also going to make this a little less thick. Let's do regular. All right, let's change this to 7. You know what? Let's go up to 8. Make sure to subscribe today. If we hit 500 subscribers, there is a special surprise for everyone watching, especially if you're just starting out in UI UX design. All right, the next thing we're going to do now, you know what, this seems a little too small, and this is one of the reasons I've opened up the live preview in the first place. Sometimes it's really hard to tell what's working and what isn't. And after this, let's take a couple of questions and comments from the chat after the navigation bar is done. So if there's anything you want to type out, just leave it in the comments really quickly. And right now we're focusing on our navigation bar. Let's copy this, paste this, and I feel like the styling doesn't need to be changed for this one by a whole lot. The styling is going to remain the same for the entirety of this UI. The only thing that's going to change is your font size and font color. Not too many things to work with, and hence not too many things can go wrong. This is why I say this is like a sure shot portfolio project. You definitely have to do this. All right, now we're going to add our links in here: awards, about, blog, and register now. So the first thing we're doing is awards. If you guys want access to all of these images, they are available in the Discord group pinned in the live chat and the description. Do not miss it, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, having access to all of these images and everything completely for free. It's truly is special, especially if you're just getting your career started. It is quite handpicked and selective. All right, awards, about, and the third one we're doing is blog. Make sure to subscribe, because there is a special surprise for the first 500 people who are subscribing, and we're going to complete that number pretty soon as well. Now I'm just pressing on shift, selecting all of these, Control G to group them together, and click on plus to add an auto layout. Now that we have this auto layout, we're going to put this right in this corner, and we're going to start working on our very first call to action button. Let's really quickly get this and change the text to say register now. This build is actually a complete portfolio project, and it's inspired by a project that I did in real life for a client. It's not exactly the same. A lot of things have been taken out, including the private information as well as copyrighted content, but I've actually worked on this project, and it was one of the greatest hits of all time, and it's one of the best projects I've ever done, which is why I'm so excited to actually be able to bring this to you. This has been one of the best looks of UI designs in my complete career, and this is why I am so happy to be able to bring elements inspired by one of the greatest designs of my entire career. And this is why I feel like this would just be such a hit, because it took a good team of UI designers a really long time to get this thing together, get it made, and to get it working, which is and there are a lot of elements which definitely show to you how many details went to it. If you zoom in right here, I want to point this out right now. If you zoom into the blob and you see all of the details that have gone into taking an image, transforming it into something that looks like this, the devil is always in the details. This is why this project was such a hit. Like this is exactly why it worked so well, and this is why I'm so excited to bring this to you. This is our navigation bar now. All right, now we're going to build out another element that is super duper important: these icons. These icons are important because dark mode, gameplay mode, and all of these other options, the help button, team option, login option, whatever it is, these are now options which are an inescapable part of all websites. You have to have a dark mode, you have to have all of these different features, and if you don't have the toggles for that, if you are not preparing already, if you don't have effective places in your UI design where the user can switch them on and off, your project is going to suffer. Developer is going to make icons that no one is going to use. So we need to have a couple of icons. I am going to use Iconify, which is a brilliant plugin for icons, which is going to search for Iconify, and we're going to get ourselves a moon icon for dark mode. Let's really quickly search for a moon. This is the moon that we were using, and I'm going to get all of the icons here sorted out. Let's get this game controller icon as well. Let's get game controller. If you guys have any questions, do leave them in the live chat and I'll get to them as soon as we complete this section. And then we also want users icon for login. Don't worry if it doesn't look perfect right now. This is going to be one of the most awesome UIs we have done in a really long time. You know what? Let's just get this for the login. and then we can get the help icon. Let's do this one. Done. And now we're going to select all of these, make them smaller, make sure the width and height is always linked together. If your width and height is not linked together, you're going to get weird stretched out results, and it's going to become a disaster eventually. All right, now we're going to take our first icon, make it really small. Let's do it at 32, add an auto layout, and make sure your width and height is absolutely equal. This is what makes sure every single time you have a completely rounded off square and a rounded off circle as a result. And now we're going to make sure we add a fill of white, add an effect of drop shadow. This is what makes our shape visible to us. And then we're going to add a border radius of the highest number we physically can. This is going to round our shape off completely. Again, this is why having spreads is so useful. If I didn't have a spread with me, if I made this shape with a pen tool, I wouldn't be able to do this. But I am able to do this, and this is why it's just... And spreads go in minus as well, which is basically taking back something wrong that your blur has done. So if I blur it out to a crazy degree and I don't like it anymore, you can do spreads in the minus and take that mistake back as well. This is why spreads are so incredible. Let's also put this in here. Let's add a little bit of a blur, and now we're going to change the color from black to purple. Let's put this in here. And again, this is all about working out with trying colors and getting what you think is best to work inside of your color scheme. So let's just experiment around, see to try and find a purple that works best with this color scheme. There are many shades of purple, but not every single one works with this. I feel like this is one of the perfect colors that we're ever going to do. 4F00AF. This is the perfect purple for this section. We're just going to place this right here. And now we're going to create exact replicas of this with all of our other icons. Let's just reduce this in size. The size that we were using was 32 pixels. Let's just put it in here, and we're going to put this inside, get rid of this icon, change the color in here to... Let's do purple for this. Let's do yellow for this one. Let's switch the colors up because we have absolutely nothing to lose. All right, orange works too. And then we're going to duplicate this a couple of times just so we can do the other icons too. This is why this is such an interesting build. It is super duper important to have every single detail on point, and without having the right tools at the top, you're going to have something that truly suffers. Let's change the thickness, change the color, make it a little bit bigger. You know what? I feel like we're in the wrong container here. We're going to drag this above and get rid of the other container. We're going to change the size to... Actually, the size is fine. We're going to change the color, and then we're going to change this icon here as well. Let's bring this in here, make it smaller, change the size to 32 pixels, and also bring this inside of our frame. We're going to get rid of this guy and change the color in here to pink, and with that we have our complete right side navigation menu ready. I feel like this is such an effective way of getting all of your navigation icons at one place, and also if you group all of these together and add an auto layout, you can effectively take control of the spacing between them. This is the best thing to do over here. All right, we've got a couple of comments waiting. Ayushman says these icons are super cool and look like Notion inspired icons. It adds emotion to the website. Absolutely, 100% agreed. This is why we're using these icons in here. The level of emotion and the level of life that they add to your actual UI design is what makes things stand out completely. Alright, now we're going to create our first section. This is what I'm super duper hyped up about. This is going to be a long one, but it is definitely worth it. Let's create an entire frame, bring this to 575 pixels of height because we need a little bit of space to do things now. This is where the real action begins. We're going to add a fill and also start adding a couple of icons in the background. So now we're going to go to our free vector elements library, and there are a couple of icons which we can easily use. So we're just going to pick them apart in the beginning. We have a lot of icons. We have 600 icons, but we can't use all of them. So let's just get the icons that we're sure will work right. I feel like these are going to definitely be a hit. Let's also get other icons that would work nicely over here. I feel like this is a nice festive flag to add. Again, you just have to pick apart, copy and paste all of the icons that you think will do well, and then take a chance on them at the end of the day. Let's get the heart icon out of here as well, and this is now going to give us access to a library, sub-library of fonts and of icons, in fact, with which you can do absolutely anything you want. Let's get all of these out of our frames, copy and paste them outside, and get as many as we can. I feel like we're really close to just getting this done now. And the best part about these icons is they have been taken from the same exact library, from the same exact drawing style, and that just always makes sure your entire design comes together effortlessly. Okay, and with that we have about, I believe, 15 icons almost roughly ready with us, and we're just going to get them, copy them over here, and then we're going to go back and paste them inside. Let's paste them out here. Let's copy them, and we're going to paste all of them inside here. We're going to make sure they're outside of any other frames and take all of these basically, and then we're going to add an auto layout to them so that they get centered in one single place. And with that, we have our sub icon library ready with us. This is the group of icons which we're going to use, especially if we are adding them as backgrounds over here. Now I want to just take a moment to make these guys a little bit bigger, just because they were looking a little bit smaller on the screen. We're going to go back to our frame, make sure the spacing in between is perfect, and also align this perfectly with our button. I feel like the font sizes just get smaller at points, and then you just have to adjust them, but we are on track to creating one of the greatest UIs I've ever done. Again, let's go to this frame, center align this perfectly, and now we're going to start adding the level of background effect, the background effect that we've been looking for. Let's go to this, copy and paste it in here, and place it right here. All right, now this is something that you need to know. Always frame your vectors. If you don't frame your vectors, they're going to stretch with this frame, and then that's going to be a big problem to handle. So if your vectors are scaling, that means you need to place them inside of your frames and make sure they don't scale left and right in the right direction, in the wrong directions. All right, let's take this first vector, zoom in, make it smaller because it doesn't need to be this big. And also we're going to reduce the opacity and change the color. Now the colors that we're using have been taken from our very own color groups, and you can just work with them as is, and you can also reduce the opacity for a couple of others, especially because they're going in the background now. Yash asks if I'm on Dribbble or Behance. I am on Dribbble and on Behance, but a lot of the designs on there are pretty old and I haven't updated them in a long time. If you want to see the latest designs I've done, this is literally the latest design I'm making right now. You can go to the live stream section on this channel and find complete videos and projects of everything I've made thus far, and they are much more recent, the things I've done in recent months. You can find me on both Dribbble and Behance, but I don't think, and I have an icon emoji there for my avatar, but I don't think most designs there are recent. Nice, that's great. All right, we're going to get all of these, copy and paste them. Make sure to subscribe, you guys, because today we are going to complete 500 subscribers, and everyone who subscribed in the first group of 500 is going to get a special surprise. We have actually a couple of things planned. We're going to get rid of the extra icons that I accidentally pasted, and now I'm going to make this smaller. Again, this is one of the most awesome builds we've done in a really long time. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like this video so YouTube knows you like this video, and also click on the notification bell so that you get notified every single time I'm live here. All right, we're going to make this smaller, and we are right now in the process of filling up everything in the background. Just going to make this smaller, put it right here, and change the color to pink. Let's reduce the opacity or just keep it as it is. It doesn't matter for each specific icon. And we're going to take a little while to just fill this page out. Once you have a couple of icons with yourself, you can actually work with them and place them in all sorts of different places. But when you don't, you have to work on your layout and make sure everything is perfectly working. All right, while we're talking about this, I want to go back to the frame that I just built before importing all these icons. Hold on. I feel like this was frame 4. Is there frame 4 in here? All right, so this frame right now needs to be deleted because we aren't yet sure on what size our first description box is going to look like. We need to add a background pattern in here of whatever colors they may be. We just need to have a little bit of reduced opacity and things going on in the background. So we're going to keep filling up everything in the background with all of these different icons. Don't worry if it doesn't look perfect. It doesn't need to either. You can take colors which look good together from outside of our color palette and then remove their opacity, and this is going to give us this super duper nice looking layout. Let's just shuffle these icons and place them in all sorts of different places really quickly. And now we're going to get all sorts of icons, copy them and then paste them outside, get them in here, make sure their opacity is really low, change their color, reduce their opacity, and always place them in some random location. Make them small, make them large, just shuffle the whole place around. This is one of the nicest layouts we've ever done, and it takes a lot of really intensive manpower in terms of taking a look at where things need to be placed, placing them in the right position. It's very simple and yet quite difficult to achieve. We're going to send this to the back, change the color in here once again, and remove the opacity. This is already looking super duper nice. Like, I could put anything in it. I could genuinely type something in here and it would look incredible. How awesome is that? This is coming together really well. We're going to copy this emoji and then we're going to place it in here again. We're going to take this and put it in here inside of our frame. Let's just put it inside. Zoom in, reduce the opacity, reduce the traditional opacity, change the color, obviously. I feel like this is going to be pretty much it for these icons, and then we're going to take a moment to make the section and then we're going to fill them with icons again. Alright, this is our first couple of icons that we've placed all in random locations, and now we're going to start with our text. Learn maths like never before. Let's get started. Alright, we're going to go back to our frame and we're going to start typing out in our signature favorite font outfit. Let's get this right here. Learn maths like never before. If you haven't yet subscribed, let's complete 500 subscribers today, and every single person who is subscribed today gets a special surprise. It is cooking and it will be available in the community tab, so do not miss it. Again, we're going to make this thicker because why the hell not? Also align it to the left and make sure your spacing is not set to auto. You're going to reduce the size, obviously. And then we're just going to place this right here. Make sure your text and your logo aligns together, because if it doesn't, that might be a little bit weird for you. Alright, the way you do this, the simplest way you do this is you create a rectangle and place it right here. We're going to take this guy and make sure it's perfectly aligned with the rectangle. The reason we're doing this is because this is the most reliable technique of making sure everything is perfectly labeled. And I know some people are going to come at me with layout grids and all the other fancy techniques, but what you see is what you get. This is a simple concept in UI design, and it's very visual work that gets this stuff done. Alright, now we're going to change this color to the signature pink that we've been using. Done. And we're going to add this super funky icon, because why would we not? Exclamation mark. Get ourselves a super cool smiley, which we haven't used yet. Copy and paste it inside of our frame. We're going to take this out, change the color, and here's something which we haven't done yet. We have to make sure this smiley is on top of our O, and it makes sure the O isn't see-through anymore. So we have to make sure it is opaque even though the fill here is open. We're going to change the color to the orange which we've been using, and then we're going to go to our pen tool and create a circle, which is actually a vector shape, because oftentimes the shape of icons and emojis and text O's is not perfectly circular, and you might want to move around some of the sections, so you have to make sure every single time that you've personally made the vector shape. Again, we're going to send this to the back, so we're just going to right click, make sure to click out of the path, right click, send to back. And now we're going to change this to the background color which we have been using. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. This already looks super duper cool. How awesome is that? If you love what we're doing here, type amazing in the chat, type great in the chat, type something in the chat, and we can get this party started. Let's now type out the description for this one. We're going to create a whole description box. Make sure everything is styled even before typing anything. Font size for this is going to be 16 pixels. Font color is going to be black. We're going to type a little bit of stuff out, and then we're going to change this text to, let's do medium. Again, I'm just now taking all of this text from over here, and I'm just going to copy and paste it directly. You can take the time to type this out, especially because the text in here is so fitting with what we're doing. Let's paste it here and match the style. And I feel like we need to change the line height to auto, and then we need to increase a little bit more. Let's do 132%. This is good. And change the size and change the font weight to regular. And then we're going to make sure we have auto width as well as the exact amount of width as this square. Again, we can increase this line height for a little while, and I feel like this is a very comfortable place to be at. And now we're going to build out both of our call to action buttons. These are the actions we want the user to take when they enter our site. Let's create buttons. We're going to copy and paste this in here, and then we're going to change the text to say explore, because who would not want to explore such an awesome site? This is the perfect portfolio project for you. It's the best one ever. Like, if you take anything away from this channel, this is what you need to take away. We're going to frame this selection, add a layout, and then we're going to add a left and right, top and bottom. Make sure to add a fill at the bottom, because otherwise you're going to lose your shape. And then we're going to make sure the color is set to orange. The text color obviously needs to be white. And then we are also going to make sure the font weight is set to bold. And we're going to add a border radius too. Great. And now we're going to change the font size to, let's do 24. Or let's just scale it back down. And the font weight can now be semi-bold, because this is often about exploration. Again, the next thing we're going to take care of is our register now icon, and is our register now button. And this is going to be essentially the exact same text, but we're also going to change out the background and remove the background color entirely. Alright, now we're going to get rid of this background color entirely. Get rid of the frame as well, because no one needs a frame now. And we're also going to make sure that we have this green color along with its underline going in here. We're going to change the font color to the light shade of teal that we've been using for a really long time. Change the text to say register now, because we want the user to do that. And also we're going to add an underline, because I feel like strangely that would be a good effect here. It is on very rare an occasion where you can say underline is the perfect effect here, but this happens to be one of the occasions where you can say that. Again, we're going to search for underline in here. It was here somewhere definitely, and I'm just forgetting where it was. I feel like this is a very simple thing to do. Done. Text decoration underline. This looks gorgeous. And now we're going to add the 10 by 10 icon, which we've already gotten from our icon set. Let's go back to our design. Take a copy of our 10 by 10, put it in front of register now, change the color to the green that we're using exactly over here. Make this guy smaller, rotate it just a little bit, place it right here, rotate it a little bit again. And now you have the register now icon with you ready to go. Alright, you can add and fancify whatever your underline is in here, and we can just change the shape of this guy as well. Let's just keep on making the shape, and let's just keep on working with this here. This is one of the most awesome and one of the most creative UIs we've done. Even though UI design is a creative field, I rarely get to do projects like this anymore, which is such a shame. These are the kind of projects that truly show you have the creative edge that it takes to get things like these working. And this is the project that you need to put on the front page of your portfolio. People make their own portfolios, have their own projects, and I've gotten this question more times than you think. What's supposed to be the hero project of our portfolio? I feel like something like this is the first project you need to show in your portfolio, because let me just say this: the level of edge that it takes to do something like this, the level of edge that it takes to combine drop shadows, blobs, vector patterns in UI design, removing opacities, removing backgrounds, and just getting this all together in one place is the thing that needs to be the first thing that people see in your portfolio. Let's go. We're going to make this thicker, and I feel like this could be a very good replacement for the underline that we've done. The underline is often just for reference, and then you can create something that looks much, much cooler. Check this out. This looks incredible. This truly looks incredible. And now the user has this super weird, unconventional option to either choose the normal button, which we see everywhere, or choose the register now. I feel like the register now is what I'd click on. Let me know in the comments, which one would you click on? If you got the option to click either of these buttons, would you click on explore or register now? Come on, really quickly. Let me know. All right. The next thing we're going to take care of is these images. Again, this is going to be a time-taking section. This is going to be a detail-oriented section, and this is going to be the ultimate test of your stability as a UI designer. Let's go. Again, the first thing we're going to do with this UI design is get our images. And so we're going to get these images from Unsplash. All of these are free. All of these are from Unsplash. I have the Unsplash IDs of my images with me. Every single image on Unsplash has a unique ID, and I have the ID for both of the images that I'm using, you guys. Let's go to unsplash.com. I'm in Figma for most of my day, and now opening up Unsplash and stuff like this just feels like a journey to a different land. What the hell happened? I typed a splash. This is plenty embarrassing. No, GoDaddy, I don't want a splash. I want Unsplash. Let's go. We're going to search for any image at this point, and I'm going to show you a trick now. You can, what is going on? You can actually search for images on Unsplash using their ID. Not entirely sure why. What is going on? I feel like I just clicked on something wrong altogether. You know what, let's just click for a normal image, and then we can see what we can do. I have this planned, and let's get this going. So every single Unsplash image has an ID, and it's becoming the perfect way to sort of track these things now. If it doesn't work, then we can definitely go back and do a couple other things. Check this out. Unsplash.com/photos/8TFUF4320OXL. This is the ID of this image, but we want the image to have our own ID. This is what I'm talking about. Check this out, you guys. How awesome is this? We're going to download this image completely for free, and there we have it. All right, now we need to remove the background of this image. So when I go to File Explorer now, let's go back to my File Explorer. Now when I go to File Explorer, I'm going to get an image in the downloads. This is the image that I've just downloaded from Unsplash, and I need to remove the background for this image now. Let's go to Photo Room Background Remover. This is the best AI background remover which is online, and it just provides you the best level of removal of backgrounds in the across the internet. Again, we're going to get our image inside, and we're going to remove the background. Super duper simple to do, and surprisingly, it provides awesome results. Let's get this thing going. While this is removing our background, we're going to go back and get our second image as well. So our second image, the one with the boy, also had a background, also had an ID, and we're going to go back to our Figma file and get that ID from this image. Let's get this ID, and we're going to put that inside of Unsplash, and that is going to give us a really, really nice boy. There we go. We have the boy with us as well. We're going to download and take this boy. that came out wrong. Don't take Don't take my word for it. That really came out the way it shouldn't have. All right, now we're going to download this image. And now that we have our image downloaded with us, we're going to all right, now that we have this downloaded with us, we're going to press Ctrl Shift K, and that's going to give you the image that we've just downloaded. All right, this is the image that we've just downloaded and removed the background off. And now we're going to, oops, I feel like we just messed up the text as well. We're going to make this smaller, and we're going to also start changing this image. So before we do that, let's drag this image outside and let's start changing things up. Where did my image go? This image is right here, and we're going to take a look at the before, and then we're going to take a look at the after, and then we're going to see what changes we need to do to create images that look like the one we were using in our UI. So this is the before and this is the after. This is the final version of the site that we need, of the image that we're going to be making for our site. Let's see all of the different elements that we need to bring together to make this happen. The very first thing that you need to do, obviously, is to have colored silhouettes of each of the characters, and this is now going to be the master formula for creating any of these absolutely on your own. We're going to go over here and we're going to create individual silhouettes for everyone who is in the group, and then change the colors on each silhouette. So the first thing you need to make sure to add individual colors is every single shape is completely closed, meaning there are no two lines that don't join together. The whole thing comes full circle, and then you can add a different color to your UI. Let's go. And now we're going to create our pen tool, and we're going to start to add a vector in here. Let's just, and this is really simple stuff. You're going to place your pen tool and start creating all of these shapes. If you are not familiar with the pen tool yet, just place the pen tool on one of these locations. We're going to put it here, and then we're going to group this together. And now I've made sure at the very end this point is joined with this point. Now I can actually add a fill color to this, and this can now be the shade of yellow that I'm going for. Let's go. This is going to be a shade of light yellow, one which has been taken from our color scheme, and the opacity in here has been removed. So we're going to get rid of the stroke now, and also change the opacity. In fact, we're going to take it towards the lighter side of things. Opacities I wouldn't change in here, because when you remove the opacity of an object, then you can see through it. But when you see through this yellow, you're going to see a gray, which is in the Figma background, which we don't want to see. Hence, we're using a light shade of yellow, which is like removing the opacity, but the background would be white. All right. Now we're going to right click and send this to the back. We have our first silhouette with us. You can resize this obviously and change it according to whatever your plans are. Let's just take a moment, and then we can get back to all of the others. And we're back. Let's jump into the rest of our designs. Alright, the next thing we need to take care of is all of these other UIs. Let's just get these sorted as well. We're going to get our pen tool and create simple shapes, drag them around our character to create these UIs, to create these blobs, which are basically silhouettes of our characters. And each silhouette has an individual color. Which is the great point of all of these. Make sure these shapes join together, even if not perfectly, because you are going to have to add a color to this. We're going to add light pink for her dress. So the pink that we're using is just going to be lighter now. And it's also going to be behind the yellow. And now we're going to add this blue silhouette. You can make these silhouettes bigger if you'd like. That's the best thing with them. They are completely changeable. I feel like this is such an underrated and amazing technique which you can use to make absolutely any UI. And just go according to whatever the physical lines of the character are. This works in every single scenario as long as the colors and positioning is done right. Such an easy, such a simple, such a unique technique to get things working. Let's go. We're going to place this in here and make sure our shape is completely closed off so that we can now add a fill. Let's add a blue fill which has been taken from our UI. We're going to add a fill, change the color, reduce the opacity, make it a little bit lighter. Again, you can play around with these colors to find something you like. I think I like the shade that I'm using now. Again, we're going to change this color a little bit just because I'm not the biggest fan of the current shade we have. This actually looks quite nice. Alright, now we're going to create a green silhouette as well. It's so easy to get these silhouettes done, and it just gives our whole design a lot of character. We're going to put these right here and also add a little bit of padding around each character's physical body parts. You know what? I don't want to go around this hand. I'm just going to go in here. These silhouettes give you ultimate control over everything that you want to highlight for a character, and it's super duper awesome. I feel like we're not supposed to do this because at the end of the day, this is not going to be visible. So we're just going to connect this, remove our fill, and also add a light shade of green. This is a good place to stop. And we're going to go back, make sure to send this to the back, and this now actually looks incredible. Check this out, you guys. This is awesome. Alright, and now we're going to think about embellishments, which means for every single one of these characters, they are going to have a specific object of embellishment which is on their or around their silhouette. This character is going to have a crown. You can make your own crown or get a crown from somewhere. Let's search for our crown. Where is our crown? Let's go ahead and search for our crown. I feel like we have a crown in here somewhere, but if we don't, we can get it made. This is the crown we were using. Alright, we're going to copy this and we're going to take it and place it outside in here. We're going to right click and bring it to the front. Make it smaller, make your whole icon smaller. And we're going to place this right here. Let's reduce the size. We're going to rotate this now. Change the color to the dark shade of yellow which we were using. So we're going to go over here. I feel like one of the things that would help right now is increasing the brightness of our screen just so everything becomes completely visible to me. So we've now built out a better version of what we started with, because these colors are essentially looking so much better than the ones we had previously. I'm just going to go back to my yellow now, get this yellow for my crown. If you're not happy with the way it looks, you can go lighter or darker, but I love my yellow, so I'm just going to change this color back to our yellow. Works. And now we're going to think of another embellishment to add for her. This is going to either have a brain or something else. So we can just search for something that looks good around her head or around her silhouette. What to do? What should we add? Let's search for something to add in here. I feel like we could add headphones. Those would be a cool addition. But I do want to take another look around just to find something that these stars are pretty too. Let's choose the stars. Let's take this highlight, copy it, and we're going to go back. paste them in here. Where did my star go? And then we're going to resize it, make it very, very small. Sparkle, add the sparkle on top of our head. Don't worry if your frames still have names right now. I feel like this star could be better in here, and we're going to position this here. This sparkle will fit better with this person, so we're just going to add it in here. Works. And the next thing we need to add is a brain. We're going to search for a brain. If we don't find it in this library, we can also get it from Iconify as well. Let's search for a brain. Do you have a brain? Are you a brain scientist? Where is my brain? I can't seem to find the brain anywhere, which can only mean one thing. I got that brain from Iconify. Let's get the brain from Iconify. Search for brain. We're going to get a couple of icons. We need to use icons that look like these, stroke or line icons. Which one to use? Let's go with this one. I feel like you can't go wrong with this one at all. All right. Okay. Don't worry if your icon is smushed together. This is the simplest thing ever, and it can de-smush if you just take all of the vectors inside the group and reduce their thickness. Again, one interesting element to add here is the fill. So we are going to add a fill to our group. We're going to add a fill in here. And if you don't have a fill yet, we're going to work on that. I don't think it was made to accommodate a fill, and so we're going to work on that as well. We're going to make this shape in here, and it's starting to look like a flower at this point, which is concerning. You know what? I don't like this brain icon. I'm going to get rid of it. And let's just draw this vector shape. If you don't have a vector shape yet, I'm going to show you how to draw a simple vector shape. So you're going to place, if you're on a monitor, you can actually burst out your screen using the split screen mode, and then you can just draw this out by placing your pen tool on top of the video. So you can use picture on picture mode, and then you can just draw these out yourself. If you're on a desktop, picture on picture mode is such a lifesaver if you're watching this through YouTube. You can either import these icons or you can make them on your own. I feel like making them on your own gives you a level of independence that nothing else would, and it's completely incredible. You can't ever go wrong with the shape of this lobe because it is random at the end of the day. Oops. Done. We're going to make sure this shape is joined together and then add a fill. But before we do that, let's also make the lobes of the brain. Internal crevices, actually. I feel like I know the name of what these are called, but I forget in real time. Done. And now we're going to create two other vectors. One thing to remember in here is these are now going to be rounded edges, which means they can't be as sharp as pointy as they are. It is not going to look cute on your illustration. This is not a cute look at all. And we're going to change this to round and round once again. And now we're going to make sure that these are grouped together, place them outside, change the color of my stroke to pink. And you know what? Let's just go with this exact shade of pink, because I feel like you can only play with the human body so much before it starts to mess up in your face. I don't know, I feel like that came out wrong as well. But for seriously though, for the icons that are already pretty famous, like the brain, for something which is already very well established, you can't play around with it by a whole lot, change the colors as you feel like and have it be okay. It doesn't happen in most cases. And then we have the rebels. All right. Let's also add a background color to the crown, because I feel like that's lacking right now. We're going to create our own shape because this shape isn't joined together. So no matter how hard we try, Figma is not going to give us a fill for it in any case. And also the yellow line you're watching isn't the stroke. It is actually the resultant shape of a stroke which is going through all of these areas. So it's quite difficult to get a fill on this in itself. We're going to add a fill of yellow in here. Let's change the color to yellow. Done. All right, and now this is our crown, this is our brain, this is our star. I just realized this star could look better in green. Let's try green. This shade looks quite nice, and then we're going to get something for this as well, for over here as well. I'm going to go over here and place this right here. Add a fill. Nope. Add a fill inside of the shape by creating our very own shape. This is me working with vectors, and this is the ultimate crash course on vectors. It is the only thing you need to do to get your perfect portfolio project done. It's the only difficult thing you need to do. It's believe me, it's just going to end up giving us perfect results. Perfect. Right click, send to back. And we're going to change the colors in here as well. Let's do white. Should we do pure white, or should we just experiment with the colors a little bit? I want to experiment now. Pure white was always better. All right, now we're going to add a weird squiggle on top of the blue girl's head. Let's search for a weird squiggle for a blue girl's head. Oddly specific, but all right. We're going to get this abstract line. Paste it right here. Believe me, you guys, this is going to look incredible when it's on the actual UI design. This is just like a this looks like a semi broken version of a crown. Rotate it, paste it right here, place it right here, and also we're going to change the shape. Sorry, change the color. This looks quite nice. And then we're going to get ourselves this green 10 by 10 from right here. Copy and paste it in here again. Bring it outside. Make sure to bring your opacity back to 100% because we absolutely need to. Done. And with that, I feel like we're super duper close to getting this done. We're done with most of the hard vector work, which is what stumps most people. We're just going to get this image. Let's get the group. Put it outside, and we're going to get these stars as well. So we're going to go down, search for stars, and then get our stars made. I believe these were the stars that we were using previously, or at least they were similar enough. Copy and paste them back. There are many libraries like the one we're getting this from. This is the Streamline library, but there are actually quite a few libraries available with which you can work if you want to create vectors like these. And I feel like I used a bunch of these when I created the original project to get this project done. But always make sure to get your licenses and everything checked out before you're using any of these in your projects. It's super important. All right, next thing we're going to do is obviously add a color in here. Just create simple shapes, nothing to be worried about, the simplest thing you can do really, and you're going to add a color inside. We're going to change the color to, let's do white, because ultimately the stroke is going to be yellow. Done. All right, and now we're going to go back. How do we go back? We can just close it off. Change the color to yellow. Change the color in here to yellow as well. Why did it not change everything to yellow? We're going to remove the stroke and make sure this is at the base of the whole thing. Let's just put it right here. And with that, we have most of this work for most of the complicated work for this done. I feel like I need to obligate I feel like I need to follow the guidelines that we've been using and just change this to white as well, because it would look quite nice with white, if I'm being honest. Check it out. This looks awesome. Let's do a lighter version of yellow, because there is a lighter version of pink here and it works, and I'm thinking of a couple of things immediately. This looks nice. This looks nice. We're going to select it all and group it together And we need to do one last thing before we can, you know what, let's just ungroup it for now, because we need to do one last thing anyways. This is going to be a weird squiggly shape that we're going to introduce in here. The reason we are doing this is actually oddly specific. For most of these images, we basically took an image and we removed the background, but now we've added silhouettes to each of these edges. So these edges are no more jagged weird edges, they are actually very nicely arranged silhouettes. But this continues to remain a straight line, which does not follow with the UI feel that we're going for. So we need to create a random shape in here to sort of feel more natural about our shift. So we're just going to start with the pen tool and start creating a random shape. Let's go. It doesn't matter what shape you have and if it looks perfect or not, whether it looks perfect or not. It's just a matter of getting a couple of shapes on the paper, getting it to work right. Done. All right, we're going to get rid of our stroke, add a fill, change this to the light shade of filler that we've been using for a really long time. And does this look good? Surprisingly, it does. We're going to change this to orange because I feel like that's the color that hasn't been used here yet, and it would provide us a nice outro from this whole thing. And that is it. We have created our very own custom vector image fusion, which just works perfectly in here. I feel like I could just place, I'm not going to do this, but I could just place this in here and we'd be done. This is such a detailed illustration, such an amazing thing that we've made here, something to be proud of, insanely proud of. All right. We're going to change this text size to say 84 pixels, bring this in here, and you know what, let's do 72 because it was appearing too small for my taste. 64 is a little too small. We're going to have to change this to 72. Sometimes you need to make a design, keep it down, and get back with a fresh set of eyes, and then see what you've been doing, and then you will probably see some things that you don't like about it yourself, and then you might want to fix them in a similar fashion to which we have changed the background color for this fellow smiley. We're going to also add a mouth, and it would be pretty fun to change the color of this tongue to pink, which is the same pink which we've been using for this guy. I feel like this would be an awesome effect if we could actually execute it. Let's see if we can. Check this out, you guys. This actually looks quite nice. Done. I don't know how this will look yet. Will it look weird? It does look a little bit weird, but what could we do to reduce that? Let's try a couple of shades. I feel like no matter what we do, the mouth is going to look weird. And even if I get rid of it, it's going to look weird. So let's just get rid of it, because there isn't anything we can do. I was just trying to help. Anyways, I think we should increase the font size here as well, because a fresh set of eyes is often the true indicator of what is going wrong. And I feel like the font size in here is a true disaster. Shift it above. Shift this above as well. Don't worry if your smiley isn't shifting with you. You can either group them together and then they'll move together around similarly, or you can just shift it individually. Make sure everything is perfectly aligned in the center. Press the Alt key if you need to see the distance between different elements. This is a good distance. And now we have our complete icon ready with us. I can't believe that we've made this from scratch and it just looks so nice. Again, the true question remains, should we now, let me just hold on. Now I have a different dilemma with me. Should I just leave this image as it is, or should I design this guy as well? Because I feel like this is a little bit more cluttered than this, and this is seeming to be a refined version of what we've done. I think we should just go ahead with this. This looks much better. We'll just continue with this. And then this, and then we've gotten rid of a couple of elements, and it's ultimately starting to look better, because this is a cluttered UI no matter what anyone says, and this is much easier on the eyes. I'm just going to continue with this because every single UI iteration gives you something better, and you just have to live with that. Let's also reduce the thickness in here to semi-bold, bring this above, shift it above, remove the line height, take this guy, come with me guy, make sure it fits perfectly, and done. Check this out, you guys. This actually looks incredible. This is unbelievably awesome. Alright, now we're going to work on our second section for the day. This is going to be another orange section because we love the color orange, and also we love the font outfit. Don't forget the 2 rules. Again, before I do anything else, this is a teachable moment. I always tell everyone to have frames for these vectors, because if you don't, this is what's going to happen. Just watch closely. That was embarrassing to watch. The whole thing stretches, and I know the reason this is happening. These vectors are hand-drawn and need their own frame to accommodate them. The group that we've provided for them is just a group, which is not good enough to accommodate their own spacing. And now that I've converted the group to a frame, I'm going to try to scale this now. Check it. It's set in its place. That was like watching magic. I feel like a couple of things scaled again. We're going to frame them in case they scale, and then that is going to be a surefire guarantee that nothing is scaling weirdly anymore. Let's try once again. I feel like everything is just set now. Incredible. The next thing we're building out is our orange section. Let's get our frame and get to it. Bring this in here and make sure the width is exactly the same. So we need a width of 12 pixels. Let's get that made. Let's take this and shift it above. Take this, place it right here. And now we're going to go to our frame. Where did my frame go? I feel like all of my frames are disappearing these days, and it's just, I sound like a grandma looking for glasses. All of my frames keep disappearing. All right. All right. Now we're going to search for our, you know what? I might have deleted that frame. If I find it again, I'm going to take care of it. If I don't, I'm just going to forget about it, I believe. Let's get this. This is where the frame was all of this time. Frame 58 was hiding in plain sight. We're going to get this frame out of our MacBook and inside of, let's just get this outside for a little bit of time, and then we can place it inside our MacBook. Where is my frame now? We're going to take this frame, place it in here, add a fill just so we can see it, because right now doing that is a difficult journey. Make sure to subscribe, you guys, because we are reaching 500 subscribers today, and that is a special surprise for the first 500 people who subscribe. There are a couple of things in the background which need to be at the top, so I'm just going to right click and send it to the back, and also because this is supposed to be in the back, and now we're going to change the color to the purple, to the orange that we've been using. Now that the top and the bottom both have a really deep impact of orange inside of them, the true advantage of this ridge is starting to see. So when you have this be orange, be a light shade of orange, the top notification bar be orange, and also the next section be orange, this is where everything just starts to be in this weird position of orange being everywhere, and that being the new harmony and cohesion of our site now. All right, I feel like this looks very, 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 very nice, and I'm not even exaggerating. All right, I do have a complaint over here. This green is now translucent, and it's now showing us the orange in the background, which is honestly annoying. So we're going to change this color to the light shade of actual green, which we liked when it was reflected. And I feel like this isn't much of an improvement, but it's something which is much more. You know what? Let's just place it right here, and then we can maybe. The previous version was much better. You know what? Let's just get rid of the notebook, and the specs can go at the top. Wonderful. Let's take this right here, place it in here, and with that, we are done. Check this out, you guys. This actually starts to look like you could push this into production right this minute. This looks pretty damn incredible. And now we're going to build out our second section for today, which is, let's take a look at what this is. The second section for today is going to be introducing speed math games. Let's go. So for this to happen, we need to have this image with us. This image is available in the Discord group. Go join the Discord group, first link in the description, and also in the live chat. Do not miss it. You're going to find all assets, all images of all of the live streams that we've done, and you can have them completely for free. Do not miss this opportunity, because many opportunities don't last. Let's get this image. Let's get this image, and I'm going to now place this image inside of our frame. Control V to paste your image. Right click, and we're going to bring this to the front. Where did you go? I feel like at this point there are way too many frames to count, and things continue to get lost. I should remove this frame because it keeps on trapping all of these different objects. If I can't get rid of the frames that are inside here, I feel like I should get rid of that one at least. And now we have this image ready with us. This is an actual project that's being launched here. And the next thing we're going to take care of is adding a title to introduce this, obviously adding a description, and a main call to action button. These three are elements from here itself, so we're just going to copy and paste them and change the colors. Super simple stuff. This is the perfect portfolio project, hands down. You don't even have to argue about it, think about it twice. This is the perfect portfolio project. Like, if I saw this on a portfolio, I would be very inclined to hire you. Let's just take them all together, group them, add an auto layout, and align them towards the right side. This is going to make things extremely easy for us. Change the color to white, change this to white as well, because what would we be if we weren't white? And change this to white, and also change the text color in here to orange or black. Let's test it out. We could go with orange, we could go with black. I feel like the final judgment is leaning heavily towards black. Yes, it is. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Alright, so the color in here needs to be changed, obviously. I just forgot about that like a dum-dum. Only the titles are going to be white, not everything along with it. Make sure to have a visual line where these columns align together pretty well, and change the color in here. Let's zoom in. We're going to change the background to the pink that we have, and also this is going to be white now. Done. Perfect. Let's change the text. I feel like this is extreme now and we don't even need it anymore, so I'm just not going to do it, because it gives you the hard to read sort of feels. So you're thinking of, is this Swede math games, is this Squid math game, is it speed math games? It's just difficult to see. I'm just going to ignore it completely. Paste and match style. Let's just add this in here, and also shift this by a couple of pixels because I feel like we need space now. Done. And the next thing we're going to do now is add a couple of icons and regularize this color inside of them, just so you know that this orange and this pink belong together. That's a huge part of the psychology, needs to be done. Let's go. We're going to search for the pin that we had in here. I feel like we copied it, but we just forgot about it for some reason. No worries. Paste it in here. What did I just do? I just pasted my own text. Copy, go back, paste. Make it smaller. Add it at the top. Can we add a fill? No, we can't. We're going to have to draw the vector fill ourselves, you guys. Change this to orange. Sorry, change this to pink. P-I-N-K, pink. Remove the stroke, add a fill. This fill is going to be pink, and then we can send this to the back very easily. I feel like you're going to have to select this frame right here and send it to back frame by frame. This looks much better. And now we're going to create a simple triangle to go behind this so that we have a pin which is white in color. Add a fill, change it to white, and the reason we're doing white here is it blends much easier with this. Let's go. Okay, we have almost everything ready with us. The one thing we need to make sure of here is let's add some text. I feel like we've just added a little too much text, so we can get rid of some. Let's get rid of this because beyond a point there is limits to what our little UI can take. What is going on? Why am I not able to type? Done. And with that, we have our second section ready with us as well. Check this out, you guys. This is looking so incredible. Can I just say it looks incredible? If it looks incredible to you, leave that in the comments. Leave it in the live chat. This looks incredible. Because to my eyes, this is the most incredible thing ever. All right. The next thing we're going to take care of is adding a couple of these little icons, reducing their opacity. And usually the fill color in this case is going to be white because you can't go wrong with white no matter what the fill color is. And we're going to basically take white, reduce the opacities, and leave a lot of these things all around this section just so we have something interesting to look at. And I feel like we might do a couple of pink items as well. So we're going to get a couple of icons from over here and place them down in this section. We have a little bit of these in here, and we're going to get a couple of them from inside. All right. We're going to go right here and we're going to add a couple of icons. Let's get ourselves some icons. Let's get the trophy, let's get the medal, let's get the headphones, and let's get this as well. Copy, paste, take them out, make them smaller, bring them out here. You can make sure the size, you're going to make sure the size for each of these is different. But right now I'm just going to get all of them ready. Change the color to white, bring this in here, change this to pink, and we're going to rotate this. Let's swap out to the best icon which we have. No, don't go inside the auto layout. We're going to place this right here, and I feel like this is such a power move because it's the lightning bolt. How cool is that? Let's add this heart in here somewhere, and then we can get rid of the opacity. Done. The next thing we're going to do is add a trophy, add a headphone. Let's add a headphone. Take it up top, put it in here, and I feel like we can actually start to leverage the true power of using the color pink in here now. We're not going to change the whole background of this whole thing to pink. We're just going to go over here and choose very specific elements, make them pink. Bring this down. And add one other section in here. Very, very simple stuff to do, honestly. Just super duper simple. And at the end of the day, it's just about putting your pen tool in different places and getting a couple of vectors made. Add a fill, remove the stroke because no one needs the stroke anymore, send it to the back, change the color to pink, and also we're going to use the subtract technique now, which is super duper awesome. Let's go. We're going to take this vector now, close it, and oops, let's go over here and subtract selection. Nope, I feel like I did the wrong thing in here. So I'm going to copy all of the vectors in here and cut it out. And now I'm going to paste another different vector with the same exact fill and select both of these. And now I can successfully subtract them. Let's go to the three dots at the top, subtract the selection. And with that, we have this see-through headphone set with us. I'm just going to do one last thing, and with that, I'm going to be done. I know this has a lot of really small details, but it actually makes for a really good UI. We now have a couple of icons to just place in all these different places. We need to make sure that this is always black because this is drawing attention to something important. And then let's get all of these other icons inside of there as well. Nope. And we're going to randomize their positions now. And also their opacities. Let's just place this right here. And we're going to leave that to completely opaque. Let's send this in here, rotate it a little bit, reduce the opacity, reduce the size of the font, bring this in here, and I feel like we could do something frosted in this corner, reduce the opacity once again. And this is broken off for some reason, so we're going to have to create a rectangle that accommodates for that. Some backgrounds remover do an absolutely terrible job of getting rid of the complete background and only leaving you the laptop, and hence problems like these arise. But not to worry, we can get it sorted immediately. We can also add a linear gradient to make sure this is just blended together, but I feel like that's just going to increase the workload, and right now we're concentrating on the ultimate UI design. Let's get a couple more of these little guys in, and then that will be it. Copy and paste them once again. Change the color in here to white. No matter what the occasion, white is the solution. Starting to sound like a tagline. Where are we in the page? I feel like we're here. And rotate this around as well. Make this smaller because, oops, something needs to be smaller. And we're going to make this bigger now. The next thing we're going to do is expand this section, do a couple other versions. So check this out now, you guys. This already looks so much better. It's a completely new variation on a simple old UI, and it does give the perfect first portfolio project vibes. The next thing we're going to add in here is our global presence, which is another interesting segment to build out. Let's go. The first thing we're going to add is our title, obviously, and then take this frame, increase this. I feel like a couple of these might flow out, but they don't, because now we have this frame to accommodate all of them. And now we're going to build out this section for our global presence. It doesn't need to have a lot of, let's just create another section. Let's create a new section. We're going to create a whole frame, put this right here, and then we're going to start creating our entire UI for this next section. All right, we're going to adjust this to automatically stay over here, and we're going to start adding our title. Copy and paste this title in here, bring it right here and say our global presence. And now we're going to change the color to the green blue that we've been using, the teal. We're also going to add a couple of countries just so that we can get this listing going. And you can find all of these countries and their flags inside of Iconify, which is the perfect place to find them if you need to. So we're going to get this description and change the text to say, check it out. Check it out. Windows key plus full stop leads you to the downward sign, which is what we're doing right now. Give it the line height, that it needs, give it auto width, and it's going to ultimately pay off. Looks so pretty. Change this to medium and make sure everything is perfectly aligned together. All right. The next thing we're going to take care of, obviously, is these countries. And so the grid that we're using here is basically 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 44. So 4 by 11, a grid of 4 by 11 circles. We could do 4 by 10 as well, because 10 is a nice round number. Let's now build this section out. Take a circle, make it smaller, copy and paste it a bunch of times, and we're going to just keep on going with these. The end result is absolutely incredible, you guys. And the process of making them is fun as well. So we're just going to copy, oops, where did it go? We're going to copy a bunch of these ellipses, copy and paste them. And with that, we have 11 circles. We only need 10. Let's select all of these, and then we can duplicate them once again. Press shift and then you can select multiple things at once. Press control and you can select multiple things at once. Press shift and then you can select 2 or more things in a row. Make it smaller. Place it in the center. Oops, not like that. Copy and paste these once again, twice again, thrice again, and that's it. Now we're going to go inside. Oops, why do you move? We're going to select all of these, group them together, and now we're going to start adding actual colors. So for just for reference right now, I want to add a background color just so we see what we're doing. This is going to be pretty damn cool. And we're going to start adding country flags in here. So let's just go and search for Iconify. Let's search for flags, and let's just go to return to icon set list now, because country flags are in here, and we can get a couple of really nice circle flags from the MIT library for these guys. Let's go. So let's just get a couple of common countries out the way. The United States is going to be the first one. No US. What do you do? This is the United States. Can you import these inside of here? Let's test this out, you guys. We're going to go right here and search for USA. Nope. Let's change this to, can we change all of these to be individual frames? I wonder if we can. Let's change this to a frame and let's see if then we have the option to import it directly inside of here. So we're going to frame this selection and then we can choose frame number 63. Import as frame. What? Nope. Frame number 63, replace icon. Did it happen? Can we import it as a comp? Nope. We can't do it. This is terrible. Half of my plan has now collapsed. No, I'm kidding, it hasn't. We need to import this as a frame. You know what? Let's just get our width and height and then we can set that automatically so we don't have to bother with resizing these all at once. We're going to go right here to get rid of it. Change the size to 86.42. Import them as a frame. Place it right here and this is perfect because it just aligns perfectly. Let's put them in one single segment and then we can just make sure everything is inside there later on. Again, this UI has so many elements that it does take a while to get it all together and to get it working just right. Let's go UK. Let's also go India. Nope. What? Why? I feel like the search is broken at this point because I just saw the Indian flag and then it just disappeared. Okay, so they might be using the two. This is what I thought. They might be using the 2-letter description for all of these flags. Let's get a couple of country flags inside and then we can stop worrying about those. Can we get a bunch of them inside here? Let's do. I'm not even sure if half of these are country flags, but I'm just going to get them anyways because we need to. Forgive me if these aren't country flags. I literally can't tell anymore. Let's get a couple of flags inside. I feel like this has to be the flag of some place. Most of these have to be flags of some place. Get in more flags. Rohit says, hi, hello, welcome. Today we're designing an e-learning SaaS landing page, a super incredible project. And getting all of these out here. I don't even know what to... I wouldn't even know after these came inside, I wouldn't even know what to do to sort them out. So we're going to figure that out together. I'm not even scrolling. What the hell happened? Let's get this out. Let's get the French flag and a couple of other flags which we were using. And now let's try to place them inside of our flag containers. Perfect. This is happening super duper quickly. This is as much efficiency as we can get, I believe. Let's get all of these inside. Again, this takes a little while, but the end result is so worth it. We're going to get all of these inside of their respective frames and it just comes together super quickly. Let's get our circle in here and align it perfectly. This, as I've said, this takes a little while, but it just comes together super easily and just sticks. What flag is this? I feel like we let one of these go without getting them in their frame, and then they're going to appear weird when we start to stretch the frame itself. Let's take this, place it right here. And now we're going to place this directly in the center. Done. Again, there are like 40 flags to get through, but the end result is so unbelievably worth it. I feel like these first two flags might be a little bit too similar, especially if we're placing them together. Let's shuffle the positions. What flag is this? What flag is this? I might know a couple of these. I know a couple of these. I know most of these, and then I don't know most of the other ones. Is this the flag of a country? I highly doubt it. But maybe that's just me not knowing flags. Why do I highly doubt most of these? Let's just place this right here, and then we can go to the next segment. Get this in here perfectly centered, and inside of all of these frames. These are the hilarious part with these is these are the same exact flags and you've changed a little bit on the colors and a little bit on everything else. Let's Control Alt P to run the previous plugin, and we're going to get a couple of items that we haven't gotten in yet. This is something we haven't done inside yet. Let's do this yellow one as well. I know this is a real flag, or just maybe it just feels like a flag. This is an interesting grid to play, flag or not. A nice game, really. Let's get even more flags inside. South Africa, I think. I might be wrong. And we're going to get all of these inside really, really quickly. Nope. We just need to get a couple of country flags inside in here and align them perfectly in the center. This is coming together way quicker than I thought it would. It does take a little while to integrate together, but all of these flags, when they come together, do look kind of amazing, actually. And with that, we seem to have 40 different flags. I don't know what countries they come from, or for most of them what they depict at all, but we at least have 40 flags for the sake of this UI design, which is awesome. This is the Nepal flag. I know one thing. We also have the Qatar flag with us. Let's just place this inside and get one last flag. Which one is it going to be? Let's do Zambia. I'm going to say this is Zambia. I don't know. ZM. It seems to be. Great. And now we have 40 different flags ready with us. This is the most interesting part of this whole UI design. We're going to choose the one flag which we're going to be using for this one. So we're going to add a stroke. Nope, not like that. We're going to add a stroke to the group, add a circle, add a stroke inside. Or you know what? We can just make this smaller if we need to. Just for the purposes of showing that this has been selected, we can make this smaller, align it perfectly in the center. And now we're going to add our map. What is going on? This actually looks quite amazing. I feel like it's hanging at this point. We might have to reopen these. Let's just get this closed and open again. Because so far, the level of progress we've made is quite incredible, honestly. And this site is really, really starting to come together. All right. Check this out, you guys. This looks like one of the most amazing portfolio projects you've ever done. This looks truly amazing. Now, I'm not entirely sure of what's going on in here. Let's get the flag situation. Here it is. Let's get the mighty flag situation sorted. Let's remove this weird big flag. I don't know who imported it. must be me because there was no one else here, but we're going to get rid of it anyways. Where is this located? Let's get rid of this guy. Where is this flag at? Let's get rid of it now. Alright, and with that, we have this section completely ready. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get this map, and I'm just going to get this SVG. If you don't have this SVG, we're just going to get it from our Figma file. Ayushman says it's a bug. It could have been a bug, but at this point, when you've designed a UI that's literally this big, bugs are very common, and it's just okay to expect bugs. Like, I'm just used to them at this point. Alright, you can find this SVG in the Discord group, linked in the live chat and description. Do not miss it. Let's get this party going. I created a frame and I just stopped it right here, not for the purposes of correctness in terms of how big this layout is, but because I want to make sure these don't move around anymore, because if these start disintegrating, then that's going to be a huge mess for me to clean up. I don't want to get into that. So I'm just going to limit the duration of this frame now, and I'm going to import my SVG separately. And I have to make sure that I frame this guy as well, because this is also a vector and it could also scale weirdly if it's not given a proper parent frame. Alright, we're going to get this right here and increase the frame size as well. Again, we've got a couple of things left and it honestly looks incredible. Let's increase the size of the frame. And now we're going to create a parent frame for this. So we're just going to the frame that we were already using, go to the layout, add a little bit of padding to the left and right, add a little bit of padding to the top and bottom, add a fill, change the color here to a lighter shade of what we already have. You know what, let's change the color of this as well to this, and let's change this color to this, and then we can get rid of this entirely and change it to a really nice and light shade, because we're obviously experimenting around with the color palette that we're using today. Close this off, go right here, place this perfectly in the center, and now I'm going to add a padding to the top, sorry, a box to the top, which is basically going to hold my location. I'm going to get this out of the way. Nope, not like that. We're going to create a new frame for this one, I believe, because it would just be much easier for the frame to hold all of this. Done. And then let's get, where is my frame? Let's get this frame outside, and then let's get frame 64 inside of frame 65. Go to frame 65, add a fill, change the fill color to this bright teal. Make sure the width is the same. Make sure the height is the same as well, and then it exceeds it from the top edge. And then we're going to go to this frame, add a border radius, because why not? And then we're going to change this location to, say, India. You could add a whole location :India, but this just is much better. Change the font to, say, outfit. Change this to bold. Change this to B48. Place it entirely in the center. We can change the text case, and this looks good as well, but we can just change it back, because we probably should change it back because it was starting to look weird. Alright, let's put it right here in the center. Make sure everything is perfectly aligned. Shift it above if you need to. With that, we have this layout ready. I feel like the bugs are really starting to get to us now, and we're going to now start adding the locations of each internal center where this program is present. Let's go. Let's now open up Iconify, and then we're going to get the locations icon. We're going to search for Iconify. And now we're going to add a location icon. Let's search for LOCATION. This is our location icon. Let's put it outside, change the color to white, and then we can place it in all different locations. Let's place this right here and use this button to get rid of the auto layout constraints and do this in a bunch of different places. We can add a border radius, we can add a drop shadow if we want to. This is just going to make our whole life a whole lot easier. And the setting that we need to make sure we've selected here is show behind transparent areas. This is going to make your life so much easier. And also the blur value needs to be much higher and the opacity needs to be much lower in here. This is a good style, and we're going to get rid of this now. Copy and paste it a bunch of times. In all sorts of locations, everywhere, anywhere, absolutely anywhere we want. All of these need to be free of auto layouts, and then we can place them wherever we want them to be. Again, the best part about this is there is no specific location which we need to worry about, especially in the beginning, and so we can just place it absolutely anywhere we like. This is one of the most modern location UIs we've done in a really long time, and it's just coming together so well. I feel like we're getting these placed in the real, actual, good places in India which have all of these modern trends inside. This is Delhi, and this is probably Bangalore, Chennai. We can also do one for. We also have one for Kolkata, I believe. We can do 2 in the northeast, or let's just stick to 1 because. You know what, this is starting to seem like a little bit too much now. Let's get rid of this. Alright. And now we finally have this adorable map of India and the global presence card ready with us. This actually looks super duper nice. I'm going to take both of these text boxes by pressing Shift and selecting both of these at the same time, shifting them above by a couple of pixels, make sure everything is perfectly centered, and with that we have our entire global presence section ready with us. Check it out. We're going to change this to frame, and that seals the deal. Again, we're going to place a bunch of these icons, a bunch of these vectors in the background for the background pattern, but we're going to get to that eventually. Let's just sort through the sliders and the bigger sections first, because we've really started to take giant slides in what we've built, and let's just compare the before and the after for this one. So check this out, you guys. This is the original idea we had in mind, the one we started with, and this is how it's coming along. Super duper fun, and the devil is always in the details. This looks much better than what we thought we'd make, and it's truly awesome. If you just look at it from this angle, it truly is awesome. And I believe this map is so much more adorable for so many reasons, starting with the location icon, which is much cuter now. Border radius is always ensured, and drop shadows as well. And also we've made the map into a really neat and clean version, which is not the case in here entirely. All right, now we're going to go back. This looks adorable. Say what you might, this looks adorable. If this looks adorable to you, type A in the chat right now. All right, the next thing we're going to create is obviously what leaders say. Let's go back to our design file and start creating this slide now. This is similar to the testimonial section, almost. Copy and paste this. Make sure to place it outside. Shivanshu says, A, you and me both. We have the same brain. This is the most adorable thing I've made in a really long time. And this used to be a really old design that I built out a really long time ago for a different client, changed the text and everything out, but the original concept remains. What leaders say. This is the perfect first portfolio project, especially if you're just getting started, because the level of dynamic things that go into making something like this will really set you apart. That is guaranteed. We need to highlight this text now, so we're just going to go right here, add a little bit of a path and make it thicker. Change this to have a border radius. Oops, change this to have a fill. Nope, we need to make this the yellow that we've been using. Add a border radius in here because honestly we need it. This looks much better, much better. And also we're going to add the number 1 plaque, so we need to get that from our icons library. Let's just go to the sub library which we just made. This is the one we were using. We're going to copy this, paste it outside. Make sure to subscribe, you guys, because if we hit 500 subscribers today, that is a special surprise for every single person who is trusted and subscribed on this channel. Thank you so much. Let's change this to gold, the shade that we've already been using, and then we can go back right here to change a couple of these elements to purple. Let's change this back to purple. I feel like this would be a nice surprise from what we've already been doing, and the way we're going to do this is actually quite interesting. We're going to select all of the paths for this area, copy them, and then Control X to cut them out. Copy them, and we shouldn't probably Control X them because then we'll lose it forever, and that is a bummer. This actually is the way we're going to do things. Check this out. How cool is that? Let's get rid of this guy, and with that, check it out, ladies and gentlemen. This actually looks quite nice. This is coming together to be one of the most adorable UIs designs I have done in a really long time. Really long time. Believe me. All right. Now this is truly incredible. All right, we're going to add this seems like the better version of this. Like, this is the second time I'm designing this, and this already looks so much better. Let's add this speaking person, and then we can add a shadow to them, just like the shadow we added at the top. So we added a shadow for this, and we're going to add a similar shadow for the speaking person. Now the way we're going to get the speaking person is go right here, go to Lumi, which is my favorite stock image platform nowadays, because many images used in Unsplash Pixels, Pixabay are quite repetitive and have been used for a really long time now, and so getting a switch from them is quite a nice surprise. Go to Lumi, search for Lummi, enter. This is a tool by the great Pablo Stanley. We're going to search for speech or speaker or anything of this public speaking sorts. Speaker. I hope it doesn't give me the band speaker. It does give me the band speaker, but you know what? That's fine. Let's get this image by Steph Mead, and then we're going to flip this over, right click, flip horizontal, remove the background. So you're going to go right here and not rename layers. Let's go right here and search for remove backgrounds. Figma automatically removes backgrounds through its AI beta features, which is absolutely incredible. Hands down. I've selected an image. I feel like it needs a real image, and now I'm going to remove the background. Let's wait for Figma to do its magic, and then we can do our magic as well. Check it out. This looks wonderful. Now we're going to add our own vector path. Let's draw it out. Again, this is very simple to do, and you can do this with absolutely any person you have, and it'll just give them the extra edge and flair that is needed for your UI design to work. This actually looks incredible, honestly. And if you've add a border radius to it, it'll automatically make all of your borders all nice and rounded, and that's also an extra great thing that's happening. Again, this is very simple if you know how to use the pen tool. If you don't, you're going to take your pen, place it on a corner, and then drag the fill, and then drag the pen handle. Don't leave the pen until you are done making the whole thing rounded off. All right, and now we're going to add a fill. This is going to be a light shade of green. So this is the green that we're using for our stroke, and then we're going to take the same exact shade, make it a little bit lighter, and then right click and send it to back. Check it out, you guys. This looks incredible. Does it look better with or without the stroke? If you think this looks better, type W for with the stroke. If you think it looks better without it, type N for no stroke. Come on, guys, really, really quickly. Type W or A for with or without stroke. Really, really quickly type with or without stroke in the comments, and then we can take your opinions from there. Type W for with stroke and N for no stroke. Really, really quickly. Rahul says, hi. Hello, Rahul. Welcome back. Today we're designing a complete e-learning page. Alright. Alright, so we've gotten a couple of W's. We're going to get rid of the stroke now. I feel like we need to add something for the mic. Make the mic black according to its silhouette. This is really, really simple to do. We're going to go right here and just drag a couple of shapes across with our pen tool and then make it nice and rounded. You know what, let's just leave the mic. It's just going to get complicated from this point on. Make sure to subscribe. Let's hit 500 subscribers today, and there is a special surprise for every single person who has subscribed in the top 500. Let's just go subscribe, because this is a really, really hard UI to build, and it's draining the life out of me. Also, by the way, I come here live every Saturday and Sunday, and we do 8 different amazing projects. So 4 live streams on Saturday and 4 on Sunday. They start at 11 a.m. and then we have one at 2 p.m., 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. And that happens for both Saturday and Sunday. So do not forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I come live. I also might do a couple of impromptu lives just because, and so you might want to get reminded for that. All right, since we're using a name for this astronaut, we're going to go to my favorite plugin for fake names, Content Reel. You can search for Content Reel if you like, and we're going to get a full name. Apply all. We need to have a female name in here, so Diane Russell is going to be it, and then we're going to get the green that we've been using for the title. So we're just going to select this, change it to the green that we've been using for this one. So this is now our title. I feel like we need to reduce the font size a little bit, and so we will change this to say this text exactly. I'm going to copy the text because we can't type it out physically. It's going to take a really long time that way, but we are going to style it together. This is quite honestly the most incredible UI we've ever built on this channel. Let's paste it with the same exact styling. Right click and click. Oops, what am I doing? Type T, right click and paste and match style. And now we're going to reduce the font size. That's step number 1. And then change the color to a little bit of a grayer shade. That's step number 2. It needs to be similar to the shade of the mic, just so things sort of blend well better. And then step number 3 is making this a little bit less thick than the title. Done. And now we're going to add their review. So we're just going to go over here, copy this whole text, and we're going to paste it according to the text that we've already made. And then we're going to style it together. You can pause this video right here and type this whole thing out. So just pause this video and type it out if you want to. All right. Make it smaller, place it right here, and now we're going to reduce the font size, which is the primary concern in here. Reducing the font size to, let's do 18. And now we're going to make this even more thinner because honestly it needs to be. At this point we have a really nice thick, thinnest sort of order, and it just works super duper well. This looks nice. This looks really, really nice. This actually looks quite nice. If you agree with the fact that this looks amazing, type A in the chat because I love the way it looks. It is incredible, you guys. I'm going to group it together, place it above, and close this off. Make sure to subscribe, by the way. We're going to reach 500 subscribers today, and if we do, that is a special surprise for everyone watching. All right, now we're going to add these buttons, and these are going to be super duper adorable because we haven't done slider buttons like these in a while. Let's go. Ellipse, point it right here, change the width through 10, and then change the height to 10 as well. This was my mistake. I should have locked it and then it wouldn't have changed the height and width randomly. You can scale this up as well. I feel like 15 would be a good place to stop. Copy and paste it a bunch of times. Again, let's copy and paste this. And then we're going to get rid of 2 of these because 6 is honestly more than enough. Let's add an auto layout just so everything is perfectly centered, and center this inside of our frame as well. Shift this down by a couple of pixels just so we have perfect spacing in the middle. All right, you guys, let's change the colors now. Let's change this color to, let's just see what pattern we're following. So we've basically followed the rainbow color palette here, using all of the colors that are available to us in our color palette. Let's do the violet, indigo, and then blue. Do we have a blue? We think we do. Blue, green. This comes together so easily and it just looks so amazing. Green, and then yellow. Where is our yellow? Orange, orange. And now we're using pink instead of red because that is the color that we were using. And this honestly looks incredible. Like, check this out, you guys. This is our color palette and it just looks so amazing. Just type in the chat if you think this looks amazing, because I do 1000 times. And if you love what we're doing over here, make sure to subscribe. All right, now let's add the next and previous icon. Let's do control. No, not control. Let's go and search for Iconify because we need icons. And we're going to search for next. And then we're going to get one of these icons and then flip them for the previous icon. That's me being smart. All right, we're going to get this in here. Change the color to, what should we change the color to? Let's just keep it black for now. Or we can just change it to one of the grays that we've been using. That should be quite nice too. We got it. Let's place this right here. You know what? Black would look a lot more actionable and a lot nicer. Let's just do black and then we're going to paste this. Place it on the other end as well. Make sure they are in an equal amount of spacing. Add an auto layout just so that they are equally spaced apart. Make them centered in our frame. Go to one of these and then flip them horizontally. This is going to make sure, and you're going to do the opposite thing. Flip this guy if you're using previous icon. And this is going to give us this ultimately amazing slider. This looks so incredible, you guys. This is awesome. The next section we're building out is my favorite. This is the events section, and we're using this super cool image layout for this as well. Let's just go. All right, so we're just going to create our image. You know what? We need an icon for that. So we're going to go to Iconify, obviously. If you need to run the plugin you last ran, that is going to be, you know what? This doesn't have a frame yet. So we need to frame this so that it doesn't, so that it doesn't skew around, move around, create a ton of problems for us. Let's go over here and frame this guy so that it doesn't move around, jiggle around, and create a whole bunch of problems. Frame this vector as well. You don't want to leave vectors without frames, otherwise they stretch when you increase the height of a frame. Let's get this guy bigger, and now we're going to design my favorite section of all time, the calendar. This redesign, the one we're using for reference, was actually done a really long time ago. It has been a really long time, and now that I'm designing this for the first time, I'm just going to show you the before and after, and then we're going to take a guess. So you want to keep watching for this one. This is what it looked like when I made it last time, which was many months and a lot many moons ago. This is what it looked like essentially, and this is what it looks like right now. It's much cleaner, honestly, and it's just so much more professional. This went for the complete cutesy effect. This map already looks so much more refined, so much more professional than what we had last time, and this section is to literally die for. This is absolutely incredible. And now the challenge here is for me to take this calendar and to try to make it a little bit more homier. And I feel like this in itself is such a weird UI. We've never ever seen this before, so this is going to be quite a challenge. Let's see if I can do this. If you think I can do this, type yes. If you don't think I can do this, type no in the chat, and we'll have a bet. All right, let's do this icon. We're going to search for calendar icon. I believe we can find it on Unsplash. Let's go and get I believe we can find it on Iconify. We're going to search for calendar. Get ourselves a calendar icon. This should be one of the calendar icons that we have. I am making it intentionally a little bit more cute because that is the ultimate point of this UI. Let's get cute things in here. Change this to say events. It doesn't necessarily need to have any number 7 inside of itself because I feel like that's more confusing than knowledge giving at this point. Get this rectangle out of that rectangle frame, and now we're going to just change this to have a border radius. If this works, I am going to be surprised and I'm going to be happy as well. So I'm just going to be pleasantly surprised if this works. I will be pleasantly surprised if this works. Again, let's add a stroke because we need a stroke that is as thick as the stroke inside. Let's remove the let's remove the fill, and also add a fill in here, and then make sure this is behind, make sure this is at the front of this. So we're just going to have to drag it inside and then change this change the shape of the calendar. So we're going to have to frame this guy now and then change the size. We need to frame the other element as well, otherwise we can't stretch the frame to accommodate everything that we're doing in here. Let's go right here, right click, and what is happening? Frame the selection, put this right here, and I feel like we already did what we were supposed to do, but now I'm just doing this anyways, just for fun. Again, we're going to type out events. If you like what we're doing, do subscribe. Let's complete 500 subscribers today. Let's go. Every single person who will subscribe today gets a special surprise from me. It's going to be in the community tab. I'm going to leave you with that hint. Let's do 40. Let's do 56. Let's do 64. Let's see if this works. Let's do 56. 56 was the ultimate best ever. Alright, I feel like what we're building out is already so different from what we started with that this becomes a challenge in itself. And I am so grateful right now that I only started with one font, because can you imagine using like having 2 different fonts for this guy? And now I also want to add a rectangle in here which is going to have this exact shade of green at the top. And this is my crazy brain idea at this point. Let's see if this works. It does. Check it out, you guys. This actually looks quite incredible. This looks beautiful. I love it. We're going to place, we're just going to take this whole frame. Can we move it around? No, we cannot. Let's just group this together as one. Frame it together just so stuff doesn't act in weird ways, because when it starts to, then it becomes a me problem. And want me problem. I don't want my own problems. Anyways, let's go to our frame. Align this perfectly in the center. And now, you know what? We've left a lot of space here. I feel like we need to leave even lesser space than we have already left. And now we're going to create a physical calendar. This is going to be quite the ordeal because I don't know how to improve on this calendar yet, but I do hope I have some tricks up my sleeve. One of the things that always pissed me off was there is no year in this calendar, which is quite honestly bothering if you want a long running business. But what can I do? What can I say? Let's just build out our own calendar, which is going to be built out in a couple of very simple steps. Let's bring this out, align this perfectly in the center, add a stroke just so we have a frame of reference. And I wasn't even committed to the thick stroke plan, but I feel like I imported this icon and the thick stroke just came with it and I sort of went along with the flow. So I'm just committed now. Today more than anything else, I'm trying to experiment with all of these different styles. You will notice here that this is the rainbow style, this is the cutesy circle style, and this is a different style. I'm just trying all sorts of different styles in here and just trying to see what works best. So this is going to be, today is definitely about experimenting between all of these different styles that haven't been tried before and trying to find what's best. All right, so we're going to bring this guy down, shift it below as well, and we're going to add a stroke once again because I cannot help myself. What if adding strokes was an obsession, I would be definitely in the line of all of the people who were affected. All right, we're going to change this to accommodate a little bit of border radius because I feel like border radius is becoming the gold standard and this is starting to look like a box now, so that has me worried. And now we're going to add 2 different lines in here. You know what, let's just go right here and then we can make this calendar official. Let's just bring these 2 out. I feel like I am improving on the general pin layout and just trying to do something different, something better. The truest challenge today is taking a UI that has been built a really long time ago and improving on it in every single respect I truly can. The thickness here was 16 and I want to keep that, but I feel like that'll be too thick. Let's just leave it at 13 and make this rounded as well. Honestly, this looks incredible. Like, if I'm being completely honest, it does look quite nice and nicely spaced. All right, and now we're going to start adding all of the different dates and all of the different special events. So the first thing we need to do in here is obviously add a date before I can start adding anything else, and I want to get that off my brain first. If you love the way this UI is coming along, if you think this is unconventional, subscribe, like this video, leave "this is great" in the chat, and I will thank you forever. That's a lie, I probably won't. I will thank you once at the beginning of the stream and once at the end. Just type out the name of the month, December 2024. Again, this is finally me getting the absolute closure I need over not having the year inside of the date, and it probably was wrong to begin with. Like, we should have had that at least. Let's now change the color to green because we need more teal. And we're going to change this color to green as well. This actually looks quite nice. Like, I did not honestly think it was going to look this pretty. Beyond a certain point, and I feel like this practically happens to most great designers, beyond a certain point, great UI design just becomes effortless, and that's just the best feeling in the world. One of the best feelings in the world. Done. And now we're going to start adding all of these different dates in at the different days. We don't yet have a Saturday, Sunday, so the point of these being like having these spaces on the left and right seems a little bit silly, but I might be committed enough to actually let them be. All right, let's add a fill in here as well because I feel like we don't have a fill and that's tampering with my, where did my text go? Let's make sure the text is ahead of our fill and change this to white now. And then we're going to bring these ahead of all of that. And now we're going to start adding our dates. So we're just going to go right here, try to create a reusable frame for all of our dates, and hopefully we have a 5x6 grid for 30 days of the week. But I now get why I did this. I now do remember why I did this. Some months have 31 days, and when they do have 31 days, I want to be accommodating. I don't want to create problems. So let's just create this cool offset sort of layout, which is like 7x5, so you can't have more than 35 days in any case, and that this is actually quite accommodating for the months with 31 days, especially now that you think about December. That's a month like that. We need to do what was the ratio here? This was 5x7, and so we're just going to have to create a grid with that. Let's add border radius. and add a number in here as well. Let's do 1. I feel like that's it at this point. And this is now our central frame. Let's create a whole grid. And I feel like we're going to leave 2 spaces in the beginning. But for now, let's just get these spaces set up. Copy and paste this once again. 7th day in here. Alright, and now we're just going to make sure they are all aligned perfectly together. Now that they are, we're going to duplicate them like 5 times. I am interested in knowing the spacing between the 2 of these. So this is 15 pixels, this is 17 pixels. That is wrong, absolutely. It's a design crime, so we need to make sure this is 15 pixels as well. Done. And we're going to do this a couple more times. Rahul asks why I'm not using auto layout. I'm not using auto layout yet because I don't have all of the squares that I need. After I have all my squares, I'm going to start using auto layouts. That's a wonderful idea. We have an extra layer pasted in here, which is a shame. So we just need to take it out and always make sure you have a single layer. Actually, Rahul is right because why am I bothering about the spacing if I am ultimately going to use auto layout? Thank you, Rahul. That was incredibly helpful. It was surprisingly very, very useful. Thank you so much. What is going on in here? Let's just drag this guy out because honestly, we need to address the whole mess that I've made at some point. You know what? Let's just lock this square and then we can select everything all together. Let's just lock this rectangle and then we can select all of them squares at once. So this is honestly 35 different frames and we're going to select all of them. Add an auto layout. Thank you, Rahul. I would have forgotten about the magic of auto layout. And this is literally, I'm just, you know what? We need to take out auto layout now. So we used auto layout once. This new information has just came in. We used the auto layout to make sure our spacing was perfect. But if I try to remove this, it just takes away from over here. So the auto layout is now being over smart and shifting things around, which we don't want. We want these calendars to be very, very dynamic and fun. Let's get rid of a couple of these blocks because we're going to need 31 days in the month. Let's start the counting. 1, 2, let's just really quickly type out these numbers. 3. While I'm typing these out, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like this video and turn on the notification bell so you get a reminder every single time I am live. Are these aligned to the right? That seems like a shame. We have to make sure everything is aligned in the center. Let's just align things in the center before we get into anything else. Because when you go to 31, outfit is a thick font and that's going to catch on with us really quickly. Let's do a font size. You know what? Let's just align this and get done with it. Alignment is always an issue, especially if you're not prepared. I feel like you're always improving in terms of alignment, at least. Let's just get this sorted. Oopsies. Align this perfectly and make sure to subscribe, you guys. Rahul says you can create a frame for date and in missing or empty, you can remove the fill to none. That is genius. Like I'm just slow. I am so sleep deprived now that I just forget simple concepts. I feel like auto layout would be incredibly useful. Thank you so much, Rahul. You are a great designer. Thank you so much. I'm just way too sleep deprived to know these things and I'm way too sleep deprived to care. Let's just bring this in here and create our mega auto layout now. I hope it works and I'm not going to bother changing the numbers in here now because it's just going to take way too long. I should have done it earlier. You do it, learn from my mistakes. I am tired. Make sure it's perfectly aligned in the center. If it isn't, you're going to manually do it. Let's just get all of these numbers in and then we can adjust the spacing according to what looks how weird. I probably shouldn't go to the internet live stream and say we're going to adjust things according to what looks how weird. That's a bad professional look on me. But I seem to be committed to this plan now, so what's the point of backing down? I probably shouldn't have said that, but let's laugh. Let's laugh on that, because tragedy plus time equals comedy. Let's change this to 28. Change this to 29 and change this to 30. Change this to 31. I feel like we have to do, let's get rid of the fill and you know what, let's just switch off the appearance for this one. Let's switch off the appearance and switch off the appearance of this guy as well. The true question is, will the appearance test stand? Nope, it's not working. We need to switch off the fill. It's useless for the ones at the top. Let's just get rid of the fills. I would have gotten that if I had more than 4 hours of sleep in the last 2 nights, but what can we do about that ultimately? Let's just thank Rahul, have him be on all of the streams, and hopefully we'll be safe. Let's just make sure all of these are perfectly aligned. You're going to click on these buttons, and then that is going to make sure alignment is on point. And I feel like right align wouldn't have worked as well either, because ultimately we were trying to align things and the frame was only so big. What is going on? Why are things not aligning? Let's get everything aligned. I know this takes a little bit, and Rahul says, no, you're doing a great job. That is so sweet. I'm doing what I can at this point. There is no judgment anymore. All right, let's go back, create this calendar, and the true fun starts to happen after this calendar is done, because we get to put amazing looking fills at the background of all of these containers and change the font color to white, add a drop shadow. That's where the fun truly starts. That's where things truly start to look incredible. Let's just put it in here and make everything perfectly aligned. Magic. All right. Let's make sure everything is perfectly aligned and have Figma do the magic for us. Let's just get everything perfectly aligned. Make sure to subscribe, you guys. Let's hit 500 subscribers today, and we can have something special, something of a surprise going for all 500 of you wonderful humans who've chosen to believe in me as a designer. And let's go. Watch out the community tab, everybody, because that is where everything special, including the things I have planned in celebration of our first 500, is going to be. Keep an eye on that, on that. All right. With that, would you look at that? We did it. Me and also Rahul and a sleep deprived me did this wonderful frame, and I have now logged my rectangle, which is horrible news. Rectangle, come back. I'm going to have such a hard time finding the rectangle now. Let's search for rectangles and rectangles near you. Rectangles near me. And I'm going to get the one that is logged and then go ahead and work with it. This is the one I'm talking about. I'm going to go over here and make sure to unlock this rectangle now. Rahul says, I think you can create each date in auto layout as well, so you can easily align. I could do that. I could do all of those things, but I just feel like a weird UI monkey now, because I'm just too tired to care. And this is the last live stream for this weekend, so that's great news for me. All right, and I feel like this is as good as this tablet is, this calendar is going to get. it is significantly different from what we had the last time I did this. So I'm just going to put this in perspective for you guys. This is what I made when I did this last time, and this is what we have this time. I feel like my major concern here was to get all of these things differently and to get something different going on. It might not be as perfect as I thought it would be, especially because I went too heavy on the strokes here, but ultimately it's a nice take, and everyone watching can now choose their pick on which UI you want to build. So this is very little variation from this. You can just take out your pen tool and design these individually if you want to, and I don't need the sun and the moon and the stars and the clouds for this section now. I feel like the date and the year is enough. You can add a number here if you want to add each significant date. And now we're going to add background colors for each individual important date. Let's go. Let's add a background color for each individual date. Let's go and search for Lumi, because that is my favorite platform to get all of the special images. Let's search for celebration. I'm afraid it's just going to give me bar and alcohol images, which is exhausting to watch now. Thankfully, it has given us birthday images. Let's go. Let's change the color to, let's get Lumi. Let's have Lumi put an image inside. I feel like this is taking such a long time now. And let's do a couple of other images. I feel like you have to put down New Year's because that happens for every single person. And why are you not moving? Why have you just hung up on me? I think I need to close and then reopen this tab, you guys, because things start to really hang after this stage. Make sure to like this video, you guys. Oopsies, I don't think we are synced yet, which is horrible news. Let's give Figma its own time. How long are you going to take, Figma? I can't close this tab right now. All right, let's see if I can. I can close the tab, which means my changes have synced, which is awesome news. Let's see what we've designed thus far. We are so close to getting this done, you guys, which is incredible. Absolutely. And check this out, you guys. This actually looks like one of the best UIs we've done in a really long time. This looks amazing. This is my particular fan favorite. I will never stop saying that this looks cool and this looks unique. I think we could increase the border radius here a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty much niceness city. Let's go. Let's open this in the editor and add a little bit of the border radius, change a couple of things, and then that is going to be pure magic. Wait for it. Let's give Figma its own time to load. I want to give it a couple of seconds just so it can properly load up, because if I just go in there too quickly, it's just going to rock the whole boat. Let's go. All right, now we're going to zoom in, start creating all of these dates. Let's make this smaller and add Lumi in here. Change a couple of important dates. Let's go to the frame for this 31st. Do New Year. Let's do this one. The simpler it is, the better. And we're going to change these colors to white eventually. Let's do something in here as well. And then we can do one for Christmas. And then that's going to be it. Why are you taking such a long time to load? Load up, please. All right, let's do Christmas. 25 is Christmas. This is the image for Christmas, and that is going to be it. I feel like I might do just one last image just because I need to. Click, 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 click. Please happen. This is taking a really long time now to get an image. Let's give it some time to load. This is going to be a while. Anyways, speaking of which, just subscribe and let's make this happen. Let's make 500 subscribers happen tonight. Let's go. Change the color to white, and this is going to make sure we have great visibility I would want to add a fifth image, but I feel like it's taking such a long time now that we need to just press pause on that idea. If you can, maybe add a fifth image if you want to, and then you can add birthdays here as well. I'm going to add an effect here, and then it's going to be blurred out as well, and then it's going to have a lot of opacity, low. Actually, we're going to have really high opacity, which means it's very visible. High blurring. This looks quite nice, and it's very visible, in fact. Especially on light UIs like this, you need a really good drop shadow going on. I feel like we need the drop shadow here as well. I'm going to go right here and change this to, say, let's change this to calendar shadow. Calendar shadow is going to be used here. Let's change this to, say, calendar shadow, and change the effect to, say, calendar shadow. Alright, these don't seem to need the calendar shadow, but I'm going to use them anyways because it's going to make my life so much easier. Let's change this. Check it out, you guys. This actually looks incredible. This looks so much better than what we originally planned for. This looks so great. Alright, let's go to the footer now. And now we're going to create a footer. And go to the frame, create a footer. We're going to make sure it takes up the entire width. Add a fill. Change this to purple. And now we're going to add our ultimate copyright notice. Let's do C copyright 2024. What was the name of this? Okay, Math Quest. Quest, all rights reserved. What do you think of this UI, you guys? Because I feel like it's 99% done, and this is the time I start collecting feedback as well, because in my eyes this is one of the best layouts ever that I've ever done. Best UIs by far. I would want to see your feedback on what you think went wrong as a UI designer, what you think went right, what we can improve on, what we can't improve on, and just every general thing right now. So I'm just going to read the comments on what you think the UI design is like. Come on, you guys. We've been streaming for like 3 hours now. Give me a comment. Let's go to our plugins and get Iconify. We're going to do Instagram, Facebook, and also maybe Twitter. Instagram. Import this frame. Twitter. When you search for Twitter, it gives you the X icon, which is the newer icon. And surprisingly, if you search for X, it doesn't give you the X icon as easily as it gives you when you search for Twitter. This is so much easier. Just let me know what you think of this one, you guys, because we have been working for such a long time to create this. This is incredible. Even bringing this on the channel was a really complicated matter in terms of getting this UI fixed up and everything else. Let's import these icons now and let's get them to the frame. We're going to go ahead and grab all of them, group them together, add an auto layout, reduce their size, and I feel like you could only reduce your size if you had them as a group instead of a frame. So we have changed the group to say group instead of frame. We're going to reduce the width and height now and make sure it's perfectly aligned in here, and the spacing internally is also good. Let's also change this to say white, and we're also going to make sure the spacing on both of these ends is actually very equal. So the spacing on one of these ends is 82 and the spacing on the other end is 62. Let's shift it for like 20 pixels straight, because why not? Rahul says it looks great. Thank you so much, Rahul. That is so nice. We have been working on this for like the longest time, and the fact that this is coming together so well is incredible news. Truly. And subscribe, you guys. If you haven't yet subscribed, what are you doing? All right. Let's make sure everything is aligned perfectly and exactly 82 pixels. This will take a little while, but trust me, when it gets done, it is the best thing that ever happened ever to the world of UI design. All right, check it out now, you guys. This looks genuinely incredible, and I'm just going to add a couple of these UI options, a couple of these UI designs, and let's just randomize their colors and everything else. Why are you placing all of these icons inside the frame? You probably shouldn't have done that, Figma. That's just terrible of you. Let's just right click and send them to the back as behind as we can, and then we're going to randomize these colors as well. I'm going to change a couple of these colors up randomly, not caring about what's what, and that's going to give me the best results ever. Let's just get this down, and then we're going to create one last randomization. Let's just put these in all of these random places. You can actually do a couple of versions of these, and then that's going to give you many different UIs. You can do all of these icons as well. I know I've skimmed short on a couple of icons. You could take a little bit of time to place all of them, maybe play around with them. I'm just going to flip them horizontally. I have used limited icons, especially because time here was limited, but other than that, I feel like it looks pretty good now. I'm just going to get rid of a couple of icons. I feel like this looks good enough. This should be an example of how you need to do icons in the background, especially because we have tackled this. This looks like a really clean layout without the icons, honestly. And this is the perfect example of how to get icons right. This is on how to get icons right when you have a colored background. And I feel like these are just completely awesome UI design experiments. This is the awesome UI design we built. We figured out how to make a navigation bar, a settings bar, and have a notification bar, also these background patterns in UI design. And we're going to copy this and share this with everyone who is here with us on the live stream. I'm just going to shorten this URL because I know really long builds give me that complication too, and then I'm going to share it with all of you guys who are here with us in the live chat. So now you can join us in the Figma file, and we can have awesome inputs from you guys as well. Again, we learned background patterns in UI design. We designed our own color palette, which is incredible. I didn't give you any color palette. This was a design your own sort of experiment, and it just came together so nicely. This is how you initiate the user to a new website, a new app, anything of the sorts. And this is completely new elements, new components that you don't generally see in most websites. These are specific website specific components. This is the SaaS aspect of it, software as a service, web app landing page aspect of it. This honestly looks like the best component I've built in my career. It might as well be. It might be in the top 3, the best 3 components I've built in my entire career. And I feel like this is a close one in the top 5 probably. This is also a new take on the stuff we've built out, and Rahul is here as well. We've got a couple of people who will join us here later on. The footer looks incredible too, and that is and I feel like this is something that I'll always come back to and love. All right, this is our super duper incredible UI design, you guys. We built it out in like 2 or 3 hours, and I just love the way it turned out. I truly hate to go today. This has been one of the best UI design streams we've ever done. Make sure to subscribe. Let's hit that 500 goal soon so we can have the special surprise that's brewing inside. Make sure to check the community tab for when we do have 500 subscribers and have all the celebrations in the world. I will see you again next weekend on Saturday and on Sunday, 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time, 2 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and 8 p.m. IST as well, which is 2:30 p.m. GMT in case you're somewhere else in the world. I will see you again really soon. Until then, keep designing, keep smiling. If this is your birthday, happy birthday, goodbye.